What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Deontay Wilder just finished an interview on BT Sports. It was a very personal interview, and Deontay Wilder, with his personal life, has over the years tended to be actually very personal, and this is the first time he's actually shared this type of personal news with the public. And he started with Fury, of course. He says that Fury has some good attributes. He thinks that Fury's not the best fighter in the world, but the things that he says, he'll keep you guessing because he figures he's bipolar. But that's okay, because he said there's something wrong with a lot of us. A lot of people go through struggles in everyday life, not just Tyson Fury, but everyone. And I'm leading on to something that he mentioned. He also mentioned about himself that he is a guy that looks at his family first. His family is what motivates him. You know, his 7 or 8 kids that he has, you know, they're the reason why he does what he does. You know, why he wants to strive, and he wants the best for his kids, and he wants, you know, them to excel in whatever they do. But he also wants them to be prepared, unlike he was as a child, because big and strong as he might be, he was picked on as a kid, you know, because he didn't have the things of the clothes that he wore, you know, of things of that nature, and people picked on him. And that's something, of course, I didn't know, you know. So him being a young parent, and I can relate to that, being a young parent, because, you know, I was a young parent growing up. He didn't have everything that he possibly needed. And as a young parent, and this is something that I cannot identify with, you pray to have your children healthy. And the funny thing about that is, you know, when your child comes with a disability, I think it's spinal bifida, that his kid had, you know, that's a lot of stress and a lot of energy. And of course, that's expensive to deal with a child with special needs, you know. So he worked 2 or 3 jobs. And this is one thing I do, or this is one of the things that I do respect about Deontay Wilder, is he worked 2 or 3 jobs to take care of his family, you know, especially his child with special needs. And he had to hustle to get these jobs and these things complete for his family. And at times they did get tough. And this is what I wanted to share with you. He said it was times where he had a gun in his lap and he was contemplating suicide, ending it all, you know, because the pressures and struggles of life, especially dealing with kids on top of regular kids without disabilities, on top of kids that do, because this child has a disability. And that has a lot of pressure, especially coming from someone younger, okay? Because a lot of young people don't know how to deal with certain things because this is the first time out, okay? So that was surprising to hear him share that with us, you know, and that is one of the ways that he could identify with Tyson Fury, you know, because there's mental stress, there's things that people deal with. Everybody deals with things from time to time, you know. He did say that, you know, he loves all types of people. I think, honestly, you know, him visiting the Pope actually enlightened him on seeing different people, different countries, different aspects, and how, you know, someone else would view from a worldly view, you know, from an outward view, instead of an enclosed group of people, you know. It's good to make an impact on a lot of people. Muhammad Ali did that for starters. He was one of those guys that identified and reached out and communicated and engaged in all different walks of life. And he didn't look at them just because they didn't look like him. And I think his followers should relate to the things that he said about loving all races of people, because it's important. You know, as a world champion, you want to touch the world, not just the United States, or not just the country that you live in. It's good to be proud of the state or the country or the providence that you live in, but it's also good being a world champion to be that ambassador. What Mauricio Sulaiman said that he's an ambassador of peace, right? Which that was a lie, but make that lie the truth. You know, Deontay Wilder should be that ambassador of peace and be that champion that reaches out to different, all types of walks of life. Okay. With Deontay Wilder also mentioned what he wanted to do after boxing. And he said he wanted to be an actor. He said that's his passion. You can act like you're getting hit without getting hit. I guess you need to ask Michael B. Jordan, Creed 1 and 2 about actually getting hit, because sometimes you do actually get hit, you know, practicing, you know, rehearsing, you know, fight choreography and stuff like that. But that's something that he wanted to do. He wanted to give it another 6 more years, and he wanted to retire from the sport at age 40 because he's 34 years of age now, you know. And another thing I want to cover is that the interviewer asked, like, well, hey, you put yourself in a situation to be the bad guy. And he was like, well, no, I didn't purposely want to be the bad guy. Well, saying things, counterpunching that, saying stuff like, hey, I want to look a kid in his eyes while I cripple his dad in the ring. Those type of things automatically give you that jacket. Okay. That's real, you know. And that interviewer didn't bring that up, but, you know, he responded as like, hey, I have a passion, you know, for the things that I do. And these people, or these fighters that's opposite of me, want to do the exact same thing to me. So, you know, you have to be an animal when you go in that ring. You don't. Okay. To counterpunch that, you don't have to be a monster, an animal. You don't have to be those things. And then not everyone has that intention of killing you or wanting a body on their record. Not everyone has that mindset. A lot of people have, hey, I want to win, and may the best man win. I pray that none of us gets hurt. Those are intentions. Your prayers are intentions. So I think, you know, he has a misconception about that. So I had to counterpunch that. But the thing is, he said he did not want to be the bad guy. So if he didn't want to be the bad guy, he shouldn't say things like, I want a body in the ring, you know. Now, he did mention or relate with Tyson Fury because he said, well, hey, I turned into the Bronze Bomber. You know, Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber. Those are like two different people. The Bronze Bomber is like this alter ego person. And this alter ego person is that person that wants that. But I guess, so I will take it, Deontay Wilder doesn't want that. Deontay Wilder wants to be that ambassador of peace or whatnot. And I will say this. Back to him contemplating suicide because of certain struggles in all walks of life. Look, I think that since Deontay Wilder has opened up, like Tyson Fury has opened up, like Anthony Joshua has opened up, I think guys like Boxing Ego, you know, saying that using Joshua and blasting Joshua for being human, you know, now his guy that he rides with is doing the same thing. He needs to approach him in the exact same way. Because I remember when Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz, and he actually answered, you know, I don't want this to be about AJ, but as an example, he questioned if he was good enough. And those guys, you know, with those channels, you know, they, especially Boxing Ego, they blasted him for being human. But that's exactly why people cling to Anthony Joshua, because he was being real. Now, Deontay Wilder is, hey, I'm opening up too, because this stuff is real stuff that happened in my life. I'm just human like everyone else. We all make mistakes, and we can learn from others' mistakes. We've seen people that went to the very top, committed suicide, and then what happened? They couldn't handle the fame. They couldn't handle the pressure. But this happened before he got famous, okay? So these things happened when he didn't have shit. You know, so the struggle's real, and he is right. Deontay's right. People see the Bronze Bomber and what you have now and the things that you are offered with now, instead of seeing the struggle, the 2 jobs, you know, and working and struggling with bills and such, where you had to take care of a child with special needs and you really didn't know what to do, and you really didn't have help financially, you know, or in other ways. So, you know, those are type things that regular people deal with every day. People commit suicide every day. Tyson Fury thought about it himself. You know, that's how he can relate with Tyson Fury in that aspect. You know, like a lot of other people, not just Tyson Fury. But the whole thing, this is what I got from this interview. is that Deontay Wilder is no better than anyone else. Like I'm no better than anyone else. We all go through things in life. Just because you are reviewed and people look upon you as this savage or as this boxer or whatever, this strong, confident person, that everyone has a moment of weakness. Okay. And he also mentioned, like, when I go somewhere, people feel intimidated, and I don't know why they can't, walk up to me or whatnot, but well, if people hear you say things, they're going to be more reluctant to come to you based on what you say. Your words reflect who you are. So if you say, I want a body, and you yelling bomb squad, a lot of people get intimidated by that, to answer that question. But it was a very informative personal interview that I never heard before. And these are certain things. This is certainly a thing that I never heard him mention about suicide, but it just lets you know that is a form of mental illness. Honestly, when people deal with suicide, that is something going on upstairs. If it's pressure, fear, anger, or whatever it is, pain, those things are associated, especially when they drive you to the point to hurt yourself or to abuse your body. Those are the things that, mental illness, originates on. Okay. It was a very informative, video. I will leave the link below, let you guys check it out. But it just shows that Deontay Wilder's opening up, and he wants to be more open and more engaging to people. Then he wants people to know more of him, and that's what he should do. And that's exactly how you become known more to other people, so because people then can identify with you, So anyway, that's my take on that. You guys tell me what you think about that particular video and this video. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.